All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt Banwart, and you're watching the third season of Digimon Podcast. I'm here with my co-host and equal,
Chris Banwart.
Chris. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
What are your thoughts, immediate thoughts? Just leave it down to a few words on this most recent episode of the Digimon Tamers show.
And which episode was this exactly?
Was it episode 9? I believe it was episode 9.
I think it's 8. I think it's 8.
It was either episode 8 or 9. You'll see in this titled below and what it is.
Let's. I just want to look at it really quick. Anyway, but
great episode, phenomenal episode. By the way, for those of you who are just joining the podcast, we are reviewing.
Yep, episode 8. This is episode 8.
In theory, you should be watching the show before us, and then maybe listening to us after the show. So if you're having the chance to, we can watch the show before. It is on Hulu for free, or it is on Watch Cartoon Online, potentially illegally, but we enjoy however you wish to stream it. We will not judge.
So big takeaways from this episode. First off, they did a horrible job in episode 7 of actually explaining this, and so they did it in the intro to episode 8, and it's the company that Mr. Sunglasses and Spinny Chair Girls,
Sunglasses Dude, Mr. Mustang, whatever the heck you want to call him.
Yeah. Anyway,
they're pussies. They low key dropped the ball in this episode.
They are. It's also worth noting for our viewers at home. Matt is drunk for this episode.
I am wasted. I had a giant margarita. Drunk. It was like 4 standard drink units worth of margarita. I don't know how many Miller High Lifes I've had. If you're watching this on video, you can see I'm actively drinking a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers.
Of course.
I'm not feeling myself. I mean, I am feeling myself.
So finishing up that talking point. So Hypnos is their company, and their whole job is just making sure the digital world doesn't get like whacked out. And so in the last episode, the reason they had to get Guilmon out of that little like limbo digital world shit was because.
By the way, time out.
Stop
Total
that.
Pussies.
Stop
Total
that.
Pussies.
All right.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So he's gonna be doing a lot of interrupting, guys. Be ready for that.
Total pussies.
Yeah. So anyway, so they're just gonna delete them. Like that's their whole deal. Is they're gonna delete them. But moving on to the intro of the episode, we have 2 people about to make out in the park. And here's where things get big.
Here it is. Okay, this is, I think, the big take. I think we both agree on this. I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your voice. Impmon, before this episode, Impmon, all we had seen of him was Impmon hitting on Renamon. And by the way, Impmon laying down the moves on Renamon.
Got some game.
He's talking smooth.
Credit where credit is due.
Total bro energy. Impmon,
I was there for it. It was frat.
Big dick energy on Impmon. Before this episode, he starts off, he is blocking that cock.
It is a damn shame.
He is.
All right, it is a damn shame. You know, if you're watching along with us, you know the scene. If not, you can just visualize this. He pulls up on him, and they're flirting. They're talking the game.
Human couple, not Digimon.
Human couple, very important.
Human couple. And they are hitting it off. The guy's like, "Are we about to go home?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We about to hold hands?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "We about to spend the night together?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then Mon's like, "Hey, Gabagushka, can I block your cock, mister?" And then he fucking throws a fireball or some shit.
No, what actually happened is the girl lays down this crazy line like, "Oh, I'm feeling the fire." And then Mon pulls out nowhere like, "Hey, you want to feel the fire?" It just fucking like lights a fire right there, right in the middle of them.
Oh,
and then it's not cool. It's not cool. They run away. My man definitely does not deliver. But so they're in the classroom, right? And we got a typical boys. So the teacher.
By the way, time out. Cut to the classroom.
Cut to the classroom.
This is not happening in the classroom. This is happening at the park at night.
The night before.
Impmon cock blocks. The show starts off. The Twin Towers lady and the evil guy. They're bad at the jobs.
He's not evil. He's just
with a fucking lighter, dude. He looks ominous.
He's the police. So is he evil?
Oink, oink, oink. Anyway, you decide.
Could be.
The fucking pigs, undecided how we feel about them, to be decided later
I've got no opinion on the pigs.
They look cool. They look too cool to be good.
They look neat.
I feel about them. Anyway, so Immon's a cock block. We cut to the classroom. Immon is not in the classroom. Let's clarify that right away. And the teacher is like, "Oh, hey, which one of you is cock blocking couples in the park?" Which, by the way, time out.
No, literally, like we were not in the show. She's like, "Who is in the park breaking up couples and lighting stuff on fire?" Which,
by the way,
it's just hilarious. This is a school teacher. She's like, they were saying it was a kid.
By the
not
way,
accusing you guys.
By the way, the funniest thing is I don't think if you realize this, the guy in that scene where he gets cock-blocked by Antmon, he had to call into the police and be like, hey, this little fucking fiery kid cock-blocked me. And the police were like, we had to call the school.
They were just like, oh, this is bad.
Which, by the way,
this is real bad.
Total bro energy from the Shizuku, Japan police. Because they were like, we got to stop this cock-blocking immediately.
This has to end now. All right? And, you know, for those at home, Japan does have a real population issue. So that might actually play into
the
this.
Police like, we got
I never thought about that.
The police like, we got to guide as many cocks as we can.
Yeah, but and then also Immon goes and steals a bunch of Guilmon's bread. Guilmon's dumb as a brick, if y'all didn't pick up on that. He goes and steals his shit. Not cool, okay? Immon right now was up here, now he's down here. For those who are just listening, he was hand at the top of my head, hand below my tiny peepee. Like, he is not a cool guy. All right, we're not here for it.
Yeah, Immon, total bro energy before and now. I don't know how I feel about him.
And then, so anyway, so in the classroom, you know, we got the boys versus the girls. The girls the ones saying, oh, the guys were probably out there. It was probably one of the boys. First off, I just want to let this be known, all right? You're right. Call a timeout. I just got to say real quick.
The boys would never cock-block.
I tell you right now, I've flirted with many a girl before. Flirted with many a girl. And let me just say, never once has a boy come up to me and been like, you know, he's ugly. But I tell you what, every girl has that unattractive, I'm not gonna stereotype weight or anything like that.
I never said two best friends.
I never seen two pretty best friends. And it's always the ugly one. It's always the ugly one that be blocking you. Okay, so all I'm saying is these girls obviously don't know what's up because the problem is that there we go. The problem is, okay, is a guy is never gonna cock block another guy. That's just not the way of life.
Not if they're bros.
It had to be a girl.
Honestly, it's frustrating.
Or Immon, because he's not a bro.
Because I feel this energy. I feel like we both want to move forward with this episode, but I think the twain of us are so disappointed with Immon's cock-blockish behavior.
I'm pissed.
I want to diagnose this episode more, but I think we're both so severely disappointed because I know you and I would never cock block a fellow bro the way Immon did.
Once.
And I'm hung up on the first minute of this episode. But honestly, I think we have to move forward because this episode does get a little bit dicey.
It gets insane. It gets insane.
So Takado's teacher, Miss Saji.
Misogyny? Her name is actually Miss
Is
Saji.
it misogyny?
It's actually Miss Saji,
Does she
which
hate
is
women?
hilarious.
We will see. The writers of the show maybe trying to describe something.
I don't think so.
Does she hate women? We'll find out. Okay. Now, honestly, here's the thing. So she has to address the classroom. She has to go, "Hey kids, stop cock blocking homies in the park," right? And then even crazier, I got this. Even crazier is that night, Miss Saji and Mr. Moore, a teacher we have not seen yet, Mr. Moore have to then patrol the park on cock block watch. And while they're patrolling the park,
you got to make sure some kids out here cock blocking.
But while they're patrolling the park, which by the way I love, couples are fucking macking. They're making out. They're eating face in that freaking park.
I know,
and I love that energy.
See, here's the thing. And so so Takano assumes Guilmon's the one doing it. Just because the fire portion of it all. So he goes out to the park. And what astounds me is he runs into a police officer. And the police officer pulls up on him and he says to him.
Also on cock block patrol.
He's like, "You! Are you that little rascal that's been out here interfering with human courtship?" The man says human courtship.
Time out. Repeat that again. Say it again.
"Are you the young man that's been out here interfering with human courtship?"
Yo, deadass, the officer's like, yo, you let these couple make the frick out,
you
homie.
see, this is hilarious, because just a few, so we live near a state park, and recently one of my buddies, actually,
this is dicey, personal life.
Was in the car,
let's hear it,
macking on someone.
I've had it happen to me.
And the cop pulls up and says, "You can't be doing that in this park."
You ever had that happen to you? Time out.
I've never had that happen. I've never been caught.
You ever been macking with a girl in the park? And
absolutely, I've been macking with a girl in the park, but never once has the ops got me, okay?
They got me once.
Oink, oink. All right, see, that's the thing. But apparently, this cop is so cool. He is making sure no one interrupts. See, that's the thing. Instead of having to, look out the window for a cop every now and then, you have the cop patrolling around making sure nobody is interfering with you two going to town, all right? And that... Honestly, the world of fiction shines through, and I'm jealous.
+1 for the cops. The cops are different from Antmon.
Fund the police after this one.
Is making sure couples don't make out. Meanwhile, the cops in this show are making sure couples do make out.
You see, now that's where you know this is the world of fiction. But
yeah, that is the world of fiction. Because we know in real life, because from your friend and my personal experience, first of all, I've been making out with girls in the park in the back of a car, getting hot and heavy, and the cop comes in and blocks me, and a part of me is like, okay,
you know, I gotta pull a shout out to my boy Mitch for sure.
Okay, because we need to defund these freaking cock blocks. But if we're in Shinjuku, Japan, this show takes place and the blocks are guiding cocks, I mean,
that's incredible. That's incredible.
A very good Japanese policeman. Okay?
I agree. And see, here's where things start to get real wild.
Let's move on this episode. Enough.
I'm getting there. So
enough
the
with the park. Enough with the park.
So wait. The park still is relevant here, right?
Maybe it is. Let's see.
So Takato, his teacher comes, saves his ass. Is like, oh, Mr. Cop, it's not my boy Takato, believe me. And he's strolling along with the teacher. I'm not saying it's getting hot and heavy.
By the way, Takato and that teacher, they were flirting.
They're flirting a little, you know.
By the way, how old? Takato was what? 14. Takato's 14.
Well, you know, for the sake of this, now we established in previous episodes, he's
hot.
12.
The teacher is hot.
But
he is 12.
In the Spanish dub of the series, he is 14. So for that reason, como estás, amigo? Takato's 14 in my book.
Muy
right?
bueno.
Muy bueno. All
Takato
right.
can be 14. Okay.
So in this, here on out in the podcast, canon, he's 14.
By the way, 14 is old enough to hit on your 22-plus-year-old teacher.
I'm gonna assume she's 22. She's banging like that.
She's fresh out of college.
But you just know she's gonna be that hot in like 10, 20 years now.
She just got her degree.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She barely got it.
She's agreeing to monitor a park where everyone's making out. Like, first off, is this park just
no one in the 30s is doing that.
Kind of a rapey vibe to the whole park a little bit.
A little bit. It does taint the show. It does taint the show.
It really does. But, I mean, you know, I'm not going to question it. And so he's flirting with the teacher, and then he's just like, you can tell deep down, like, it's never explicitly said. In fact, there's never even a reference to it. You can see it in his animated eyes. He's gonna fuck.
No,
he's gonna fuck.
Okay,
he might.
Big old timeout.
He might.
Okay. Perhaps.
And that's all I'm saying.
But we will not speculate any further on the subject, as the age gap might be offensive to some viewers.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, that totally blanked my mind, guys. I'd like to apologize for that.
And it's okay. We don't need to worry about getting canceled.
You know what? Let's
Nobody's watching this podcast.
You could see it in his eyes that he was trying to set the stones for maybe someday when he has graduated high school, graduated college.
Yes.
She is looking for love, maybe fresh out of a divorce.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the next 8 so years are going to bring for her. He's matured into a fine young man. Okay, they reconnect, they get married. The age gap isn't going to be weird when they're like 60 and 55.
Snaps.
All right?
Snaps for that.
It's not going to be weird.
Beautiful. Okay. So now, Devi Dramon. Okay, so
pulls up.
We finally see the main antagonist episode. Devi Dramon. He's starting to eat. By the way, by far, as far as the show goes, the biggest, baddest Digimon they've had to fight. What's crazy is he fights him right underneath the Twin Towers lady and Lighter Man.
Well, you know, we gotta.
By the way, the fight, evil Digimon appears, goes straight to the Twin Tower lady's building. And the Twin Tower lady's low-key had nothing prepared.
Yeah, nothing. And we don't even know it's the Twin Towers exactly, except for the fact we just recognized it. And so he jumps off the building. Well, he's got wings. He's booling. All right.
I think they even acknowledge it. I think they say it's the Twin Towers building, and they're like, "He's at our building."
Oh, they don't call it the Twin Towers building. Just so you know, it just looks like they call it the Hypnos building.
Oh,
that's the name of the company.
Well, we know what it looks like.
It looks like the Twin Towers. But anyway, he jumps off,
bang, bang.
and then Mr. Sunglasses, Mr. Mustang, whatever you want to call him, he's looking out the window and he's like, "We can't have this." As he sees this big ass dragon devil Digimon jump off his roof.
Time out. Okay, Mr. Sunglasses, Mr. Mustang, whatever you want to call him. Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about him. No drip.
Okay, for real though, he thinks gets laid away more than he actually gets laid. I just want to characterize this right now.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm here for it.
He's
not out in that park. He's not out in the park for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, just straight up, like, the monsters are fighting outside his building, and he never once sends, like, a unit to delete them or whatever he's supposed to do. Honestly, all that I got was big poser vibes from him. He's the dude, he's the dude that shows up to your party, best dressed at the party, but doesn't bring any girls.
And you know what?
You know what I mean? He's the dude that shows up, and he's like, yeah, I'm cool.
No, you know what? He might be the type of guy that cockblocks you.
I'm not gonna say it, but he's gonna do it. Shows up to your party, dressed to the best.
You're damn right.
He pulls up, and your immediate reaction is this dude hauls. But then your secondary reaction is like, why is he showing up solo? Why does he have any girls? Because, dude, honestly, he's in the building with 2 girls. Clearly, neither of them would party with him. Okay, as opposed to Henry and Takata, we've established in episode 3 of this show. I agree. Henry and Takata, they show up to party. There's for sure girls on their shoulders, okay? For 2 different reasons. Absolutely. Henry gets them naturally. Takata has to try. But Mustang, total fraud.
Yes, he is,
I call him a fake alpha. Fake alpha. He dresses nice. He's got the sunglasses, but at the end of the day, we know he's simping low key.
You know he's a simp.
He's in their DMs every night for no reason.
Here's what I see. Here's what I see
fake alpha.
is Takata. Takato's type of guy. When he gets to a party and he's trying to pick up a girl, he's like, "Hey, you want to be my partner in beer pong?" You know how that goes.
He's trying.
You know how that goes.
Henry, they're coming to him.
Let's say Henry might be like playing the guitar or something. And he's saying, "Oh, it's because I love it." No, it's because he knows it pulls. But this guy right here, his whole strategy is let's say Henry goes to the bathroom break. He goes up to those girls and is like, "Dude, I heard Henry, total dick."
Yeah, he cannot be trusted.
He's definitely the guy that talks game on other guys to try and finesse the ladies under their radar.
Okay, we've established him as a character that is important.
That's him.
By the way, the Twin Tower ladies, low-key baddies. We'll talk about that later. I think we're gonna get to that in a future episode. They will be acknowledged sooner rather than later. Okay,
and then I just want to say though,
Devi Dramon, by the way, the hardest Digimon they've had to fight so far. Devi Dramon shows up
easily,
shows a threat, and I think it is so funny that freaking Henry and Renamon, whatever their name is. They just don't do anything. They're like, no, Takata has to do.
Oh no, yeah. So Henry and Terriermon and Rika and Renamon, they pull up. They pull up out of nowhere, and at this point, Takata is super mad at Guilmon. We didn't touch on this. Obviously, I hope you guys are watching episodes, but if not, quick little 10-second run through is Takata. He leaves his teacher so that he can go find Guilmon because he's convinced that the cops are going to find Guilmon and kill him. All right, so he
thought Guilmon was cock blocking, but we all know it was
Itmon. And so Takato's just like, "What are you doing, man?" And Guilmon doesn't understand. You gotta guide cocks. You gotta guide my cock. You can't block it, okay? Because he's scared. He's scared. This is his Digimon. He's afraid. He's gonna be getting somewhere, and he's gonna cock block him.
We don't want that.
He's afraid his own best friend is gonna cock block him. But so he goes up to him and he's like, "Guilmon, I've had it. I'm pissed." Says it right to his face. He's like, "Guilmon, that's it." And so Guilmon's like, "Oh man," and starts walking away. And now this is where Devi Dramon comes in. Devi Dramon standing on the building. He's looking for some Digimon to kill.
Boom.
He sees little tiny Guilmon down there. Flies down there, and this is when Rika, Renamon, and Terriermon and what's his name show up, and they're just chilling there. And then they're like,
Calamon?
"Oh, what?
Calamon?
Oh wait, Calamon comes a little bit later.
Calamon comes in later.
But there's no explanation for these other characters being there, okay? And so they just pull up, and Renamon, and so Devi Dramon starts beating the shit out of Guilmon. Like I literally mean.
Guilmon looks like a little bitch in this fight.
He does. And so Guilmon's trying his best, and Takata shows up. And he's like swiping all these cards, and there's literally this scene where they actually loop the animation, and it's just Devi Dramon just punching Guilmon like,
boom,
and it's a good 5-minute segment because they're like setting up other plot points, but it's just like, dude, what? It hurt me to watch. And
by the way,
wailing on him.
By the way, usually when they swipe a card, they go to like an animation scene where it's like, I'm swiping such and such card, and they do like a whole like 10-second animation take from the episode.
Yeah,
I like how when he swipes the card, they don't do the animation because there's so much going on in this episode. We don't need the swipe boy. We don't need to stall for time. I love that. I love how they just keep with the action. It's very good. It's very wholesome. We love to see it. 1 second.
100%. Yeah, no, and another thing is like, Terriermon, right? Literally the Messiah at this point. He sees Itmon out, and he's like, and Itmon's just like, "Oh man, he pretty much admits to it on his own. And Terriermon hears it, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he returns to the group. And he's like, "Hey, Takata, Guilmon's over there about to die. Renamon and I aren't stepping in because our tamers are like, you know what? What if we just let this one happen?" Like he's literally pinned against building, about to die.
Very silly.
He is getting
of them.
Like he literally just spent 10 minutes getting stomped by this gigantic dragon Digimon, and they're not doing anything. And so finally, Terriermon's like, yo, Takato, just overheard it, man. Just overheard him. Turns out, your boy got framed. Your boy got framed real bad. It was it, man. And then Takato is just like, yo, Guillemon, I love you. The bond is established. Out of nowhere comes Cowmon.
Growlmon.
Cowlmon
comes
flies
up,
in,
allowing him to digivolve to Growlmon. Long story short, he beats the shit out of him. And then I think the episode ends somewhere around there. Any other takeaways from the episode?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've seen animes, you've seen fight shows. That's the way it be. Growlmon comes
back.
Growlmon
is like half his size still. Shit stomps him.
Still shit stomps him. That's
one blast KO because Growlmon's the GOAT. His bond with Takato unmatched. And
honestly, dude, I think on God, you have to look at this and you have to go, hey, you thought he was a cock block, but low key, we all know Guillemon's true as hell.
I agree, and I've
honestly, yeah, we love that character development. What are your last three takeaways?
I have three takeaways to wrap this up, and I just want to say, first off, there's a lot of stuff in this episode. For sure. A lot of stuff in this episode. So this it's just a one episode of the show, and we are going a little bit over on time. That's takeaway one is jam-packed episode full of cock blocking, shame, character development, etc.
A lot of cock blocking.
All right. Takeaway number two is you'll notice this right here is where they start to establish that your bond with your Digimon is the only way they get to Digivolve. Okay, Cowmon is implied to have like some sway in this. That's not really said, but like all the goofiness aside, all right, we see my boy, like Terriermon and Henry have been best friends for a long time. That's what allowed him to Digivolve. Renamon and Rika, they eventually reconcile, start to be friends. And the thing is right here is it is the forgiveness between two friends that allows them to Digivolve. Takeaway number 3, Growlmon definitely hung.
Growlmon,
badonkadonk.
Big old dick.
Badonkadonk.
Big old dick.
It's the energy. It's just the way he holds himself.
Big old dick.
It's the way he one-shot that one guy. You got to give him that. You got to give him that.
He is, and you know what? He's got such a big dick. He'll guide Takato's cock, and we love to see that because it's anything an adolescent 14-year-old man / 12-year-old man that Takato needs is a mentor. It's a
wingman.
In life
it's a wingman
that is willing to guide his cock, and I think Guillemon is willing to do that.
Absolutely. Guide his cock when he is of legal age.
When he is of legal age.
And he is
with a consenting woman that is also of legal age.
Yes.
Thank you. Could not agree enough. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Digimon Tamers podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Matt Banwart once again.
And I'm Chris Banwart.
Thank you guys for listening in. Thanks for listening.